What's up YouTube, Doe here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you an update to Buster Blader. So, Buster Blader not so much got some more support, but actually had a recent reprint of the Buster Whelp, which came out in the Megatins of this year, which is insane because the deck definitely needed it as a reprint. And what I've decided to do is put the deck together. It does involve a very nice kind of amount of cards from the Chronicle deck. So when you look at like Triple Tactics Thrust and the Bystials, I think they're really kind of cool to help you enhance the strategy of this particular deck and definitely give it a nice modernized feel. One of the best ways to play this deck is with Tenpai, because what you get is you have Buster Bladers go first, lock your opponent out of the extra deck, Tenpai go second, push for an OTK. The Tenpais are a little less consistent right now for the pure fact that they're not as strong as they used to be. That being said, I'm still maintaining the core of Buster Bladers. It's Buster Bladers with the Bystials. I think it works probably like the best way around right now, but it also involves a Metal Morph engine. Very, very small, but the idea is that you can bridge between the two or work your way into the Link 2, which is what you're trying to achieve with this deck. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Diving head first into the profile, starting off with the core card being Buster Blader himself. Now we're on 2 Buster Bladers and 1 Buster Blader the Destruction Swordsman, just because this acts as Buster Blader and Destruction Sword, so you're getting the best of both. I do really like the artworks of the Buster Blader Kagasuchi arts, but then on top of that as well, the original Buster Blader artwork is, especially in like Secret Rare, so it looks absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure you can get it in Quarter Century as well, which is, yeah, I'm not even gonna drool over that anymore. Then we have 3 of the Buster Whelp. Now, the Buster Blader itself is technically going to be treated as a vanilla. Don't worry about that one. It's the Buster Whelp that's going to get everything ticking for you. So when this card is specifically normal summoned, you get to add a Destruction Sword card from the deck to the hand, except itself. You can only use one of the following effects of Buster Whelp of Destruction. You can tribute this card special on a Buster Blader from the hand or grave, and if this card is in the grave and you control a Buster Blader, you get to discard a Destruction Sword card to special summon it. So the most important one you're going to want to go for is going to be your Prologue of Destruction Swordsman. Now you can actually play this at 3 if you wanted to, because hard to open it up is not the end of the world, but because I'm playing Triple Tactics Thrust and I highly expect my opponent will interact with me at some point, mainly trying to negate the Whelp, I don't mind leaning a little bit less of that, because then Thrust gives me a bit more versatility depending on what I want to try and access. So you send a Destruction Sword card and a Buster Blader monster from the deck to the grave except itself. You special summon a Buster Dragon from the extra deck or grave, but you destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. You banish this card from the graveyard. This turn, Destruction Sword card you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, and you can only activate 1 Prologue per turn. So the Destruction Sword you're going to want to send from the deck to the grave is going to be your Destruction Sword of Memories. Now, it's on-field effect. You get to activate it to discard a Destruction Sword card, special summon a Buster Blader monster from the deck. However, it's the graveyard effect you want to focus on, as this lets you banish it from the grave to fusion summon a Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman, from the extra deck by banishing its fusion materials. So the idea is that your Prologue is going to send the materials you need, and then your Destruction Sword is going to banish. So you should be able to get the Buster Whelp to the graveyard by that point. And keeping in mind, we have other ways to get the Destruction Sword to the graveyard, because that will come from your Link 2 monster, which I'll show you when we get to the extra deck. Then we're playing 1 Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, being the extra deck lock. So while this is equipped to a Buster, so you can target a Buster Blader you control, equip this monster from the hand or field to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. While this card is equipped to a monster, you get to special summon this equipped card, only use each effect once per turn. Now the reason you do that is, during your opponent's turn, when you make Buster Dragon, this should ideally be in the graveyard. This will equip to the Buster Dragon, the Buster Blader Destruction Swordsman. That will then lock your opponent out of the extra deck. Then during your next turn, you'll use this to summon itself so that the Buster Dragon doesn't self-destruct, and then you synchro into an Abyss Dragon. So it lets you upgrade your Buster Dragon, which is really important. You do also have the option to play the other Destruction Sword card, which is going to be the one that locks out your opponent's graveyard. I would highly advise that you main the one that is going to be the most effective for the environment you're going to, and then you would side the other one in and just swap them over when you see the most effective use for them. Moving on to the Max Metal Morph kind of supporting engine, playing 3 Black Metal Dragon. Now this is another option to your normal summon. If you are that fearful that your opponent will interact with your Buster Whelp, you can actually go for the Black Metal Dragon. Now the benefit of this one is you're ideally just going to link it off for a Striker Dragon. In doing so, you get to search one of 2 options. Option number 1, which is your most defensive option if you're trying to protect your Prologue of Destruction Sword from being ashed or stopped or interacted with in any way with like Dominus Impulse, is you'd actually go for your Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. Now the reason you'll go for this guy is that this guy can reveal itself to then place a max metamorph on the field, or like set it face up on set it on the field. What would happen is, when you make your Buster Dragon, if your opponent tries to interact with you, negates the Buster Dragon or anything else like that, you can then use Max Metal Morph to turn said Buster Dragon into your Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, and then gives you a negate. So it lets you kind of take away the worst and get you the best. Even if they don't interact with your Buster Dragon, you can still, during the end phase if you wanted to, turn your Buster Dragon into the Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon to give you another line of protection during your next turn, and then all you need to do is get back to the Buster Dragon, and then the Buster Dragon will still continue the lock as you need to. So there's loads of different ways to do that. The other option to help you extend your plays would be your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, and the idea behind this one is this just lets you extend. So you'd go Black Metal Dragon into Striker Dragon, then you'd use your Black Metal Dragon to grab your Red Eyes Darkness. Darkness would then banish the Metal Dragon, summon itself down. Then you can obviously start to work your way to extend your plays further forward. But at the base minimum, you can go into Erratic Seals, or I keep saying Link 2, but you really should just be going into your Protection Whelp of the Destruction Sword, as this then sends a Destruction Sword from the deck to the grave, and that's how you kind of set up your Buster lock. To help you get into your Black Metal Dragon, we play the 1/1-for-1, and then moving on to the Bystials, very standard lineup of Lubellion, Magnemute, Druid Swarm, Baldrake, and then Saronir, backed up by the 1 Regained. Like, nothing too special about that. It's just 4 disruptive hand traps, plus a recycle card, and then a way to get to all of this and then get to Regained. Then we've got 3 Trill Tactics Thrust and 3 Super Polymerization. Like, you have a bit of flexibility in your extra deck, and then being able to play a card like Super Polymerization, you could very easily play Forbidden Droplet if you wanted to, but it just helps you disrupt your opponent's field. Like, the Buster Blades can go really well going first if it can resolve its combo. Going second is a little bit trickier, which is why you want to play power spells in the form of Super Polymerization or Forbidden Droplet if you have access to either of those. Then for another card going first, you could very easily side out if you wanted to, is Red Rain. So you control a level 8 or higher Synchro. You banish all monsters on the field except monsters with the highest level. And the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects. Now, except their own. The benefit of that one is that your Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer, and your Buster Dragon are both level 8s. So you would control Buster Dragon as your level 8 Synchro, you'd be able to activate Red Rain. Red Rain could be set off a Trill Tactics Thrust, and then you'd clear the entire field. Both of these will stay on the field, and it's only ever going to be if your opponent threatens these cards, but more times than not, all of their monsters are going to become Dragon, and they're all going to be shifted to defense, so you should be pretty covered. Then the generic hand traps, I've gone with Ashes, Drolls, and Thuas. Apologies for the white sleeves, but these are currently in my Black Rose deck. So yeah, very straightforward and simple on that one. 9 hand traps of your choosing, plus the 3 Super Polys and the 3 Trill Tactics Thrust. Gives you basically the standard right now of 12 to 15 non-engine slots, whether they be breakers or hand traps, you name it. Moving on to the extra deck, we are playing 2 Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroying Swordsman. Now, you should also be playing 2 Buster Dragons. I couldn't find my second copy, really annoyingly, so for now I'm just going to use a blank card. But you'd play 2 Buster Dragons, okay? Make that crystal clear. Play 2 Buster Dragons, 2 Buster Bladers. You should only very rarely do you need to go through 2 of these guys, but if you do, it's pretty much game over anyway. It's only if they clear the first one, the exact same with the Buster Dragon. Keep in mind you can bring the Buster Dragon back from the grave, it's only if it gets banished do you have an issue. So Buster Dragon, all monsters your opponent controls become Dragon type, and then once per turn, if you do not control a Buster Blader monster, you get to target a Buster Blader in your graveyard and special summon it. And then once per turn during your opponent's turn, you target a Buster Blader monster you control, equipped to a Destruction Sword monster from the grave, and it is a quick effect. So that's how you get the extra deck lock equipped to your Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroying Swordsman. Destroying Swordsman must be fusion summoned, can't be specialed by other ways. It can not attack directly, and this card gains 1,000 attack and defense for each Dragon type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. You change all Dragon type monsters your opponent controls to defense position, and also Dragon type monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate the effects. And if it attacks a defense position monster, you inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So it does like everything. All of them become Dragon because of the Buster Dragon. They all get shifted to defense. They all can't activate their effects. And then this is just going to go pop, 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 and just like attack all of them. So this is your game ender. The more monsters you put on the field, the stronger this guy gets. So keep that in mind if you're facing this deck. Then for the generic links, I've got the 1 Protection Whelp of Destruction Swords. Now, I'm going to be showing you more than 15, but these are just options that you can play. So for a Link 1, I like the idea of either Relinquish Anima or Link Aribo. And the reason for that one is, your other Link 1 that you can utilize is going to be your Striker Dragon, because you have the ability of utilizing your Black Metal Dragon, which is probably what you're going to go into more times than not, because you'll use your Black Metal Dragon. Your Black Metal Dragon will then turn you into work its way into Erratic Seals, and then keeping in mind, trying to go for your Erratic Seals, you also have your Buster Whelp, which is a dragon. So you could use Black Metal Dragon to go into Link Kuriboh. The only reason you're playing Striker Dragon is to work your way into Erratic Seals. So either or, make the decision of which one you would prefer. I like the idea of going Striker Dragon for going first because I don't plan on leaving Link Kuriboh on the field. And then I like Relinquish Animar as like the going second option. So that's how I would personally line it up. Keeping in mind we've got 7 cards right now because we've got the 2 Buster Dragons. So that's your idea there. Then for number 8, we've got the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. As previously mentioned in the talk about the Buster Dragon, it will get destroyed during the next end phase. So you summon back the Buster Whelp and then you sink it into a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, so you maintain a form of negation on the field rather than letting the Buster Dragon just like self-destruct itself. Then for number 9, we've got Builds the Diabolical Dragon. I just think it's a card that some decks don't even prepare for, know about, or struggle to out. And it could be a very nice kind of like surprise option that will cause them a lot of issues. And then we've got Bystial Dispatter, so just generic, you're playing your Bystials, you've got Dragon Negate, you can recycle your banished cards, it's in a good stead. And then for the final cards, again, really is up to you. We've got the 1 SP Little Knight, we've got the 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Garura for your Super Body targets, and just another nice one that I thought would be a good option, but you can also play Secturion Dragon as well. Just keeping in mind that you don't play as many spellcasters with the deck, like it would become more prominent for you to utilize if you were playing Effect Veiler and sometimes Magician's Souls. But I decided to go for Borreload Furious Dragon. Now the reason I went with Borreload Furious Dragon is when you have a Buster Dragon on the field, everything becomes dragons. So all you need them to be is your opponent to have dark monsters. So if they have dark monsters that then get turned to dragons, Mitsurugis, you then just go, cool, Super Poly, Borreload Furious Dragon. And sometimes, unless you're playing Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, your Murakumos and everything, they don't really care about, like they don't really fear a Super Poly. Whereas now you've got an option that could do that. And then this gives you a bit more generic bridge to be able to deal with stuff like the Dracotales. It can also help you deal with some of the other ones like Lunalight sometimes as well, because as long as they're darks and you're turning into dragons, you're in happy days. But that is completely flexible, completely up to you. Like I said, Link Kuriboh is an option for you. You could look at other synchro options if you wanted to give that a go. You do have flexibility in your extra deck, which is what makes it, I wouldn't say like incredibly fun, but like Buster Blade is incredibly fun in general, but it's what gives you a lot of flexibility to adapt it as you see fit. So at this exact moment in time, I've shown you full 15, well technically I've shown you 14, but remember your Buster Dragon played 2 copies. I just couldn't find the second to make that as crystal clear as possible. And then Link Kuriboh is an option for you. I personally don't. I prefer to go with the way that I've gone with it, with the Striker Dragon and the Relinquish Animar, but to each their own, adapt it as you see fit. And that is it for the deck. Very straightforward, simple to the point. Buster Blader is a really cool Yu-Gi art type deck. I love the fact about this deck. Massive shout out to Danny. He hasn't played the game for a while now, but he was always a massive Buster Blader fan. And every time I do a profile using Buster Blader, if he's watching at home, I'm always, always thinking about you, buddy. Exact same with Jason and Red Eyes. And then you've got Carl with Infernoids and Infernobles. You've got Rob with Mech Knights, and so's Kyrams with Mech Knight. Like, you might not be, you may be too busy to play right now, but it doesn't mean that your influence isn't always on the game. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.